speaking of schooling and parents and careers, right now, we're in an age where there's so many different offbeat careers coming up. As YouTubers, we get this question all the time. How did you talk to your parents about it? How do we convince our parents about this really new career that we have? I want to ask you, if you had to convince your parents and tell them that this is what you, how did that discussion go? Did that happen where you had to sit them down and tell them that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
I want to do YouTube now. Like, did that happen with you too?
What?
He's doing YouTube right now. Like, he's into YouTube. That's why.
Well, not everybody can be convinced about everything, okay? Some things are just done. So, just to give you an example, when I passed my 12th standard, at that time it was called PUC. After that, I decided I will educate myself. I don't want to go to college. This is a family where everybody is educated. Not going to college is like sacrilege. At least today, there is a little more flexibility. Those days, it's like if you don't go to college, you're finished. Because now probably if you don't go to college, you may lose your lifestyle, but you won't lose your life. That was a generation, if you don't go to college, you lost your life, you're on the street, that's about it. So they were terrified of this. My father being a physician, he was just freaked about it. He is a very studious man, all his life, first, second, third in everything that he has done. So he couldn't believe this, that I want to educate myself. So I did one thing, and because of this, suddenly everybody thought I'm become some kind of an enemy, and they were not even talking to me properly. I did one thing. I was just to tell you, I was such a big eater. I would eat 10 times, more, at least 10 times of what I eat today. But I never was putting on weight or anything because my level of physical activity was such. I could just run up a coconut tree, I was made like that. So I was every day cycling about 50, 60 kilometers, swimming in the Kaveri and going back like this, so eating this. I decided to go to the Mysore University library. Every day when they open at 9, I went, 8 in the evening they close. That entire time, I sat there, read all kinds of stuff. From Homer to popular mechanics, to National Geographic, to literature, to geography, this, that, whatever. Whatever came my way, every day for 1 year, I read like this, just all kinds of things. But the most important thing for me was, though I was such a huge eater at that time, this 1 year I went without a meal. Morning I ate as much as I could, breakfast at home, and I went there and sat there the entire day without a meal, which was a huge achievement for me, because without food I could stay. This kind of expanded my way of looking at life, but family drama started, my mother started crying. When the next academic year comes, go to college, go to college, go to college. Then I said, if I must go to college, I'll go for literature. My father said, what will you do reading poetry? You must become a doctor. He has seat ready for me in the medical college, everything. I said no. Then they said, okay, at least do engineering. Then I said, see,
Please do engineering.
if I say I don't want to be a doctor, if you told me become a veterinary doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, at least a witch doctor, I would look at it. If I say no doctor, you say engineer, I'm not going to listen to this. Your problem is society, your problem is not me. So I just went for literature, and these 3 years, I went there in the beginning and they all had ready-made notes, the teachers, they would read, and everybody writing down. Those days fountain pens, kara 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 kara, it makes noise, it just irritated me. I said, I don't want to listen to this kara kara noise. I gave them a suggestion, if you give that notes wherever you got it, we will photocopy it and give it back to you. We don't have to come, you don't have to come. Then if I'm there, I'll ask 100 questions. So they didn't like it, then I made a deal with all the teachers that they'll give me attendance. That was my only concern. So once a month I went to college just to check if they're keeping their part of the deal.
My life is so similar, yeah.
So I explored the geography of Mysore district in such a way, every village track, every hill that is there, every little bird nest, whatever is there, everything I paid attention, just wandering aimlessly. But today, like when I went for the Rally for Rivers board where all the top experts are there, some questions came up when I just telling them casually, they said, Sadhguru, how do you know all this? I said, what was aimless wandering? Where I paid absolute attention to everything, from a worm to an insect to anything and everything I paid attention. Now it's become formidable knowledge. I never intended to learn anything, I just paid attention because it was life. And this is all it takes. We have come here to live. There is no other damn purpose. Those of them who want to go to heaven can go today. Why are they postponing? If it's such a great place, I don't see why you should postpone it, isn't it so? This is very important for the youth. If anybody says there is a better place than this earth, it is a crime. It's because of that we have destroyed so many things here.
Teacher among many that Sri Sadhguru fondly remembers, that is Miss Sarasa.
Namaskar, Sadhguru. You are back in the campus after almost 50 years.
45.
45 years. What does it feel to be back?
Well, no school kept me for more than 1 year. This is one school which kept me for 2 years. So I'm grateful for that. I have to admit, I was not much of a student. I did come to school whenever it was must. Of all the schools that I went to, one year I was in different schools. So the very fact that I spent 2 years in this school, I enjoyed this school most. I must share how I remember Saraswati. Sarasa? I won't take that liberty. The first day, she is walking from Regional College of Education. It was called RCE at that time. It's changed now?
Yeah, now RIE.
Okay.
Now RIE.
Okay. So Regional College of Education, we knew we are getting a new English teacher. She did not come at the beginning of the term, she came after a month or two after the… started. So we are 10th C. Actually, many times the headmaster of the time thought of hacking this entire section and throwing us into a lake or something. It did not happen, but many times he got the thought. So, she is walking in… Can I describe?
Yeah.
I was outside with a couple of the boys. We're just saying, okay, who is this new teacher, because nobody really wants to come into our class. So I remember Saraswati sorry, walking this way and in a white, heavily starched cotton saree with some butta, you know, like a peacock, she walked. Well, we carefully examined her and we thought, oh, we discussed, and where is she coming from, where is she taught before? No, she just passed and she's coming. Oh, this is it. Can she handle us? Because she's just out of the college. And then she came into the class and we were the first class that she handled. And just to probably… as a new teacher, I'm sure she was nervous. As a new teacher wanting to reach out, she walked across the room and she remembers that I was in the last table. At that time it was table and chair, still so? Oh, benches. At that time it was table and chair, we had our own little thing that we could do and so we wanted to do something to disrupt her life. So, talking to the class, she came and probably she wanted to reach out to the last bench and show that she is a concerned teacher. When she came and she was facing the other side and leaning on my table, so I felt inspired. And I opened my pen and let out my pen on her white starched sari, which very readily absorbed all of it. And of course she did not notice, and some of them were giggling, who are here and still giggling. Then she went, probably somebody in the staff room would have told her that there's a big patch of ink. Then after… in the lunch hour or after lunch hour, post-lunch hour, I was in the classroom, I was called to come to the staff room. I thought one more suspension because I don't know, in those 2 years, I think I was suspended at least 6 times. So, I went there, she asked me for my pen, I gave it to her. I thought she's going to confiscate my pen as proof of empty pen. Then she took out an ink bottle, filled it and gave it back to me. I said, "Thank you, ma'am," and went back to the class. That one thing made me in such a way that I never forgot that one teacher. So, there are many kinds of moments in a school. Children should learn to relish and enjoy all that because they don't come back later. Nobody treats you this fondly once you grow a proper moustache, when the real one comes. Other kinds of things will come to life, but they won't treat you like this. Once the ink goes off and the real thing comes, then they treat you differently. You will miss it. So right now, when still the moustaches are handwritten, you must enjoy the space, you must enjoy the funness, you must enjoy the scolding. Sometimes they pat you on the back when it is necessary, they'll do it little harder, little lower. It's okay.